So who is this?
This is Queen Nzinga. She was the 17th century warrior queen of the Ndongo and Matamba kingdoms, which is modern-day Angola. She was born in 1583 and had two sisters, Makambu and Kifunjin Bandi, and a half-brother named Mbandi.
Then want to know who's gonna be the next surprising star. I'll bless I again. Representing for Kidemi, Priest Kidemi. Yeah, I don't want them know say 21 song we use 7 times straight and burn out all iniquity, you know. When we are all with Trinity, you know. Yeah man, see it there. Give thanks and praise for life, you know, Selassie is alive. Yeah man, the land of the priests. Burn out John the bass. City that's golden, pour a lot of truth been spoken. Never praise the image that's molten. Half of the truth never been spoken. Come Rastafari, make we whole land. Like when we cross the river Jordan. Rebellious youths in the garden. Seems as if them very hard. They say the place me rebirth, abolish slavery. 1 year after 1980, then take the chain from me foot and me hand and slavery. Them put it on we mind, that's why them never believe we. So they turn we in the merchants, in the prisoners, in the officers, lawyers, goldsmiths and teachers with false God. Every teeth and tongue shall confess, even the governor general. Oh, that man I feel marshal. Land of the priest. Every day we pray, every day we pray like Sunday. Can't go wrong in this beautiful island of sea, sun and sand. Cause we have 3 houses of Rasta, Kings of Gyphies and Ella, Priest Kidemi's a lead and Ras free man. So it no matter where you're from in this day and age, from your tread the transatlantic slave trade. We have got memories, though we become of age, and we have been through no blood, sweat and tears. The land of the free. Every day we pray, every day we pray like Sunday. From a city that's golden, pour a lot of truth been spoken. Never praise the image that's molten. Half of the truth never been spoken. Come Rastafari, make we whole land. Like when we cross the river Jordan. Rebellious youths in the garden. Seems as if they're very hardened.
Salamta, blessed love and greetings once again. Alafia. Tiger's Nest with you. Honorable Priest Isaac, giving thanks for being in your presence. Shock of the hour moment. It is a joy, isn't it? And this evening I want to speak about the character known as Tahuti. Some refer to him as Jehuti, and he's also known as Thoth. You would hear them brag about Hermes, Trismegistus. You'll hear them speak about Mercury from the Roman tradition. And the same Tahuti Thoth, said to be the Melchizedek, said to be the Enoch of the scriptures of the Bible. So quite interesting it is, and that is the realm that we are going to go into this evening. We're going to be directly speaking about the ancient character of Thoth. Now what I want to do as well is to just highlight to everyone that we have a petition out at the moment, and this petition directly has to do with the destruction of Green Castle Hill. Now the petition is entitled to stop the destruction of Green Castle Hill, and the website that you go to sign the petition is thepetitionsite.com. So if you Google in the petitionsite.com Green Castle Hill, you will see the petition come up on screen asking you to add your signature towards the effort as far as the whole aspect of preserving that hill, Green Castle Hill. Care to petitions, stop the destruction of Green Castle Hill. So we have just launched that, and brother Rasrick, we're thankful for such a brother who has assisted us in launching this petition here. At the moment we have 108 supporters, 108, and that is mystically the size of Antigua in square miles. It's 108 square miles. So for the moment we have 108 supporters. So all you got to do again is go online, thepetitionsite.com, stop the destruction of Green Castle Hill in Antigua, and it will come right up. Even if you just type Green Castle Hill, it will come right up, and you can see where you sign. Our goal is to get 10,000 signatures, 10,000 supporters, as it relates to, again, preserving Green Castle Hill. And for now we have 108, but we've just started to promote it, by the way. In fact, this is the second time I'm saying anything about it, and of course I will continue to definitely blow that trumpet. So thanks to all those who have already supported internationally, and looking for more support as it relates to preserving the Stonehenge of the Caribbean, Green Castle Hill, of course, where the megaliths align with the heavens. And I mean, I'm sure if you haven't heard me speak about that, well, I'd like to welcome you to the Mystic Vibration. You'll definitely hear much more in the future to come. But for now, in the interest of time, I want to go straight into the discussion of Tahuti, the Kemetic deity known as Tahuti, also called Thoth, 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 the individual that has been credited with the emerald tablets, and we will speak about that, and as I said, also referred to as Hermes in the Greek theology, and in the Roman theology he's Mercury, and also seen to be the biblical Enoch. So we're going to visit 9 World Chronicles and get a touch of Thoth, the Kemetic god of wisdom, magic, and science.
Thoth, the scientist of Kemet, the great collector of knowledge, is an ancient god worshipped in the lands of Cush and Kemet long before the rise of the pharaohs. Thoth is perhaps the most studied of all ancient deities because he is a god of knowledge and wisdom. Thoth is the god who brought humans math, science, and magic. Also known as Jehuti, among his notable deeds, he overcame the curse of Ra, allowing Nut to give birth to her 5 children, utilizing his masterful skill of games. Ra had become angry when Geb, the earth spirit, and Nut, the sky spirit, fell in love, and he forbid Nut from giving birth on any day of the 360-day year. Heartbroken, Nut appealed to Thoth for help. Thoth, moved by her emotions and her pain, lured the moon into a game of chance and won 5 extra days in the year. These days Nut used to birth her children. For this act, he became credited as the inventor of the 365-day calendar. He ruled Upper and Lower Kemet for 16,000 years, building the foundation of the greatest civilization of all time. Thoth played a crucial role in the design and orientation of many famous pyramids, temples, and ziggurats around the world. The purpose, as we understand it, was to create a system of energy generators powerful enough to create portals to other worlds. It was he who helped Aset, the goddess of magic, work the ritual to bring her murdered husband, Asir, back to life. With the help of Anubis, he created the first mummification ritual and helped resurrect Asir in the land of the dead. This act allowed Aset and Asir to join together one time and produce their only son, Horus the Younger. He was Horus' supporter during the young god's deadly battle with his uncle Set, the god of chaos, helping Horus with his wisdom and magic. Thoth proved to be a vital ally of Horus. When Horus was blinded by Set, it was Thoth who drove the magical poison from Horus using his more powerful magic. His reign on Kemet done, Ra gave Thoth an area of the underworld to rule in the land of the caves. He kept a registry of those in his realm and decreed just punishments for their transgressions, and acted as Ra's representative in the afterlife. In this world, his wife is Ma'at. Ma'at and Thoth are often pictured at the side of Ra in the underworld and play important roles in the judging of dead souls. In his quest for all knowledge, Thoth was able to discover the secrets of creation, as well as a key to true immortality. It was often written that Thoth created himself, and in other cases resurrected himself, solidifying his claims to have discovered the secret of creating life. He ruled Kemet for 16,000 years and roamed the earth for several thousand more, eternally vigorous and youthful. Indeed, it seems he had discovered the gift of true immortality as well. His wounds would always heal. He was immune to disease. He was immune to poison. He inscribed these powerful secrets in hidden passages in his book. It is the most powerful spell book in all creation, and a power reserved for only the most enlightened minds. Anyone who reads it will become the most powerful sorcerer in the world, who among men should command the power of God. Thoth is also credited with writing the Emerald Tablets, which contain the secrets of prima materia and the key to its transmutation. This book is considered by alchemists to be the foundation of their field of study, as well as that of quantum mechanics. This book contains the key to manipulating particle energy as would be required to create planets or a universe. Thoth became credited by the ancient Africans as the inventor of writing, and was also considered to be the scribe of the underworld. For this reason, Thoth was universally worshipped by the ancient Kemetic scribes. He was always associated with Seshet, who cared for his library of books and was thus given the title of Mistress of the House of Books. Seshet is also credited with inventing speech and language, and it is often believed that Seshet was the creative force and Thoth was the teacher.
Now, I want to hold that point. Seshet was the, as he said, Shishat, as some of us would pronounce her name as, was said to be the keeper of his sacred books, the keeper of the sacred books of Tahuti or of Thoth.
And it is often believed that Seshet was the creative force and Thoth was the teacher.
And Shishat or Seshet was the creative force and Thoth was the teacher. The creative force and Jahuti was the teacher, Thoth. Mention is made of him ruling Kemet for 16,000 years. In fact, I don't think in this little mini documentary they speak of his presence as far as being the founder of Atlantis. But legend also has Tahuti as the individual that founded Atlantis. As I said, when we speak of Tahuti, Tahuti is the ibis-headed neter that you would see in the ancient world, Northeast Africa and other places. So Tahuti is the individual, or Jahuti is the individual that we are referring to now as Thoth. He is seen accompanying even Anubis in the resurrection of Asar. He's considered to be self-created at times. The same Tahuti. He's seen being the divine husband of Ma'at, and then also seen as in the presence with his companion Shishat. Now, Shishat is very interesting because Shishat is seen with the cannabis plant. Remember, we have already covered this when we dealt with the cannabis in general, showing you that the 7-pointed leaf, that is seen above Shishat's head does represent the cannabis and the cannabosum. And we went through the translation to prove that, well, there you go. The great Shishat is also seen as the woman of wisdom, while Tahuti is seen as the god of wisdom. And of course, we're using the term God, as such loosely. Maybe even the term woman and all his words too. But you know what I'm saying. So that is why sometimes she's seen inside of the tree of life, giving wisdom unto the initiate as such. As he's the father of writing, she's considered even the mother of such, as was just said here a moment ago. She is the one that keeps the books, the records of thought, of Tahuti. I really want you to pick up what I'm saying here, because we're dealing with not just a science, but the science of the language, of the words, of the translations, of the newer languages as well. Because although his original name is not Thoth, but yet still he represents what we call the thought. That's why we call it our thoughts, what we think, what we meditate on. It is our thought, what we remember, what we store in memory. It's our thoughts, what we perceive, what we believe, our psychological makeup, how we're thinking again, back to our thoughts. And the quote-unquote God of wisdom, his name is Thoth. And he's responsible for the information in the Akashic records. Where is that? Well, technically in the universe, but in your thoughts. In the upper sphere, but yet still in your thoughts. For your heavens are your heavens, is the heavens, your thoughts. How you think. The Tahuti, the ibis. And how mystic it is now that the keeper of his record is represented by a tree. So the keeper of the records of the thoughts, the keeper of his books, and anyone that comprehends the science of the marijuana, the cannabis sativa, and you, maybe the listener, some of you for sure, especially if you're privy to the subject of Tahuti and I like what he's saying, more than likely this may turn you off. But because I've passed the stage of experiment and I know exactly what I'm talking about, they're saying, guess or boy, this is a very mystic coincidence. No, this is the facts. Again, science would show you that tree above Shishat head, the leaf is the leaf of the cannabosum. The leaf belongs to the hemp plant, the marijuana sativa, the can ibis. The can ibis and the ibis bird is the thought. So that is why they want to can the thought in a man. Popeye eat his spinach through a pipe and the spinach come out of a can. So the ibis bird, the can ibis canning the thought. But the ibis bird, the keeper of all the records, Shishat, who's represented by the cannabosum, by the tree. Shishat specifically is the keeper. Hear that, man? Shishat, who's represented by the tree, is the keeper of the records of thought. And that is why it is so mystic when you meditate the whole aspect of the science and the ability, the psychoactive property within the cannabis. Whatever your feelings towards that tree is, it definitely affects the dimensions that you go into. It is pure, it is clean, it is quote unquote organic, it is grown with love. It is not used, it doesn't come out of a lab. It is not synthetic. It's not made up. It's not plastic like some of the rice that people are buying. Once it's not that, I could assure you there's no other plant around that can compare. Not the made up stuff now, not the stuff that's chipping your mind. Because a lot of what, and I must say this so it can be clear to the younger ones, a lot of what is being passed as Tahuti is her mess. Real mess, her mess, real mess. She messed up her mess. In other words, what is being passed as the cannabis, the marijuana, Mary, the same Mary, the Mariam that we just spoke about a few days ago. The Mariam, the Miriam, the Mary, the same Mary Juana. Yeah, the mother of Christ. Yeah, the Virgin, the Virgo. The Virgo constellation has a cup and a bird and a snake right underneath her. The cup is the cup, it's the chalice where the marijuana is placed into. Yeah, and that brings us to that episode we did, the chlorophyll god. I think we went into that well nice in that one, you know. Good, so let us proceed with where we are here. Let us continue with Tahuti. Let us continue with the brother Thoth. But I just had to show you that link with your thought. It is the God of wisdom, the God of writing. And Shishat writes as well. You know, the scribe, the God of the scribes, the deity of the scribes, the netar of the scribes. He that brought forth understanding and knowledge and what they call it, quantum mechanics as well as alchemy. This is the God of alchemy, Tahuti. You understand? And as they would say, Tahuti is Hermes. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I may be the first person you may have ever heard something like that. Maybe, Hermes is the Tahuti of Greece. Yeah, and Jesus Christ is the Selassie of the Jewish religion. No, or whatever. No. It's two different things. One was made from the other. And because one was made from the other, for example, the emerald tablets. The emerald tablets. I'm going to get to that in a moment. But just a little preview. The emerald tablets. Who is really the writer of the emerald tablets? You know, and the emerald tablets, I mean, I don't know if you have ever read the emerald tablets. It's not hard to find. You could read it online. You can even hear an audio of it. You know, so it's good reading. I mean, it's nice. It's definitely good reading. And I'm not denying that it's attributed to an ancient philosophy. Because, of course, any good philosophy, we know the root of it. But what I'm saying is that the emerald tablets itself, do you know the history of it? Can we attribute it directly to Tahuti? The emerald tablets itself is still up in the air where it really came from. It supposedly was written in Arabic. And it mentions the name of Hermes as Hermes in the Arabic. You know, it didn't say nothing about Tahuti. No, it's the same person. No, they mean it's the same person. It mentioned Hermes. A green tablet written in Arabic. Now, because Hermes is the Greek version of Tahuti. That doesn't necessarily mean that Tahuti is the ancient African version of Hermes. And you see, that is very, very key for us to meditate on. Because obviously Tahuti is older. Tahuti is the first one that you see with the double snake, which represents the Kundalini, also represents the chakra points within that meditation as well. And the double snakes and the wings that expand out, the Kadus as it's called, the same symbol you see for the medical symbol of the double snake plus the wings. Hermes carries that, Mercury carries that as well. But Tahuti, the Jahuti, the Thoth, is the first to carry that symbol. And it represents the DNA, the double helix of the DNA. That is what is represented by the staff of the Kemetic Neter, Tahuti. So we know for sure that that comes from Tahuti. It comes from Jahuti. It comes from the Thoth. The Thoth, you know. Please follow my words. The Thoth produces all of this. So the emerald tablet is nice for the thoughts. It is. As I said, it's good reading. But as far back, if we're going to deal with evidence and scholarship, because belief is nice. I could believe that it was written by Tahuti too. But not because you attribute something to Hermes means it belongs to Tahuti. Remember, Hermes is a stolen, corrupted version of Tahuti. So you don't just, and that's the problem. It's just like, as I said, for example, Jesus. There are things attributed to Jesus that doesn't really fit with the original character that he was morphed from. You see what I'm saying? So not because it applies to Jesus. That's how you get black Jesus and these different things. Because some of us, we just paint in black, but the whole story is the same. So although Hermes or Hermes name was found, because Hermes name was seen in the tablet, it mentions him, so the tablet has always been attributed to Hermes. In fact, there's an article I wanted to read. No, let us just continue to listen to this and then we'll get to that argument. So she shot, man. She shot. I have some she shot here. Let me just take a neck drop. Yeah, she shot is the keeper of the books of thought. You understand? The tree in the man, the 7-pointed leaf of the Kanabasa is the keeper of the books of the Akashic records of your thoughts. So that tree, that shisha, literally opens the library. That's what it does. And brings out the books of your thoughts. I wonder if you get what I say there.
He was said to be the husband of Seshet, and as time passed, he gradually absorbed most of Seshet's roles, and she was largely seen as his female aspect. They had a child called Horna. At Canaan, he was the husband of Nema, goddess of protection. Their child was the god Nephor. He was the great conciliator among the deities because the peace of the gods is in him. His goal was always to maintain a balance of power. We know he was a traveler, an international deity, for his name can be found in many ancient languages: Neo-Babylonian, Coptic, Greek, and Latin. Thoth represented the embodiment of knowledge and literature. He spread knowledge to every corner of the world and became an important figure in the history of Earth and its civilizations. Thoth is believed to be the author of the Book of Coming Forth by Day, as well as the Book of the Breathing, which is often attributed to the goddess Aset. The Book of Coming Forth by Day is an ancient funerary text, which includes parts of the pyramid text and the coffin text. They were instructions that the dead would need to complete his or her journey through the underworld. They included spells of protection, directions, and important facts. The journey can be very disorienting, and these instructions were designed to make the transition smoother. The Book of Breathing are several late ancient Kemetic funerary texts, intended to enable deceased people to continue to exist in the afterlife. The earliest known copies date back to about 350 BCE. During the late period of Kemetic history, a cult of Thoth gained great prominence due to its main center, Khnum, in Upper Egypt, also becoming the capital of the nation, and millions of dead ibis were mummified and buried in his honor. The rise of its cult's power also led to them seeking to adjust mythology to give Thoth a greater role, including varying the Ogdad cosmology so that it was Thoth who gives birth to Ra.
Now, what I'd like to do is to just read something here on the emerald tablets, just to give a little clarity on what I was saying, so you could, comprehend where it is. Now, this is taken from sacredtext.com, emerald tablets, the emerald tablet of Hermes, history of the tablet. History of the tablet largely summarized from Needham 1980 and Holy Mariad 1975. The tablet probably first appeared in the West in editions of the Pseudo-Australian Secretium, which was actually a translation of the Katab Ser al-Asa, a book of advice to the kings, which was translated into Latin by Johannes Hispanlensis. So it says here, I'm going to repeat that again. It was actually a translation of the Kitab Ser al-Asa, a book of advice to kings, which was translated into Latin by Johannes Hispanlensis in 1140, and by Philip Tripoli in 1243. Other translations of the tablet may have been made during the same period by Plato of Tivoli and Hugh of Santala, perhaps from different sources. The date of the Kitab Ser al-Asa is uncertain, though 800 AD has been suggested, and it is not clear when the tablet became part of this work. Okay, so as you could see there, so it is said that this tablet first appeared in the West, and appeared in the West in editions of Aristolium Sectrum. I hope that's pronounced correctly. That got me there, I'm telling you straight. Which was actually a translation of the Kitab Ser al-Sar, a book of advice to the kings. Okay, let us just continue to follow this. Good. Where are we? Good. Holomyad was the first to find another early Arabic version, Ruska, found in the 12th century, claiming to have been dictated by Sergius of Nablus. In the Kitab al-Thinani, second book of elements of foundations, attributed to Jabir. Shortly after, Ruska found another version appended to the Kitab Ser al-Khalifka wa San Atal Tabi. Not really Islamic or Arabic, I should say, scholar, so please pardon me. A book of the secret of creation and the art of nature, which is also known as the Kitab Balanios al-Hakim Fil Ilayal, book of Balinas the wise on the causes, and the causes is in capital C. That's interesting. Book of Balinas the wise. Balinas is a personal noun as well. It's someone's name, so it's capitalized too. Book of Balinas the wise on the causes, and causes has a capital C. That's deep. So that's something more than just the word causes. That's how you gotta read when you read it. Okay. It has been proposed that this book may have been written as early as 650 and was definitely finished by the Caliphate of Al-Mamun in 813 to 833, and I'm sure most of you would know of that historical event there. All right, so we're looking into this in its fullness. We see that there's a certain level of, if you want to say, Islamic history and Arabic history in general. Not that Islamic is necessarily Arabic, you know, but obviously we know history shows that at one time or the other they were definitely closely linked to each other. But I'm just saying there that the whole aspect of the emerald tablets, whether in the Eastern world or in the Western world, it still has its origin in the whole aspect of, well, yes, around Islamic history and in Arabic. Okay, so, and it is in that language really, the name Hermes, which is Hermes, you see. So it says also that the origin of the emerald tablets, pardon me, is still unknown. And it is credited for that whole Hermetica doctrine, and Hermes also is referred to as Hermes Trismegistus. And Hermes Trismegistus is translated in different ways. He that is thrice born. I once read it that he said to have appeared in 3 lands at the same time. 3 different landmass on the planet at the same time. It is also Hermes thrice anointed. And of course that only brings to mind the whole triple crown concept that we speak of as it relates to Haile Selassie I. You know, and we speak of that unique aspect of his coronation being thrice crowned, Negus and Negas, the King of Kings. So that is a link there as it speaks of this character Hermes, because Hermes now, and I'm speaking of Hermes, I'm specifically speaking of Hermes, not Tahuti. Yes, I understand that Hermes is supposed to be the Greek version of Tahuti. I can play with that if you want to say. But outside of that, if we want to be clear, the concept of Hermes is one of the many versions of the many different personalities or characters or you know, or symbols that we have in the ancient world that has been robbed and that has been bleached out and that has been chopped up and falsified and whitewashed and rinsed out and bleached out, and I said that already, scrubbed out and dried out and out on the line to dry out and yeah, brought back to us, and we pay for it too. That's the whole concept. So just like many of the sciences that and the superheroes that they give up, down to Batman and Robin, you know, stolen ancient concepts, you know, down to Hulk and Superman, stolen ancient concepts, you know? and the Jesus concept straight up, stolen ancient concept, falsified and used in a very, very sinister way to keep the people on the plantation psychologically. That's exactly what is happening there. Yeah, straight up. So that's what Hermes is to me. But because it has the ground of the philosophy of the ancient world that it was robbed from, obviously it wouldn't be nothing without that. So we can understand that a lot of what is betraying is stolen goods, you know. So that whole science of Hermes appearing on 3 places, imagine that. Just meditate. Hermes appearing in 3 places on the planet at the same time. And what that brings to mind now, again, is the mystery of Melchizedek, because Hermes is supposedly Mercury, and all of them is supposedly Enoch. Enoch is Tahuti. So it is said that Tahuti now is who built the pyramid, not Khufu. And this is why the pyramid and the whole complex is referred to, or the pyramid itself of Giza, the pyramid of Khufu, is said by some to be referred to as the pillar of Enoch. Because Enoch now, which is Tahuti, is the builder of the pyramid. I hope I'm giving you some clarity of exactly what the outlook of many of these, philosophies really are. Yeah. I'm definitely an Enoch fan, eh? You better know that for sure. I definitely am an Enoch fan all the way for sure. Yeah, so you are right. Well, if you ain't checking for Enoch, that's up to you. I ain't no Hermes fan. As I said, that's Hermes. That's a lot of mess really, Hermes. But the Hermes doctrine, as I said, Melchizedek now. Melchizedek, some people say Shem is Melchizedek. I think that's a lot of guessing. But Melchizedek itself, the concept of the Melchizedek, is very directly Melchizedek. Zadok is stars and zodiac. Melchizedek is a celestial being, bar none. The Melchizedek. That is why the different cycles around the zodiac. Again, the mysteries of Melchizedek, speaking about the 12 cycles, and that's the cycles of the zodiac, the 2,160 year cycle of the age, and every age 160 years. So the Zadok is the zodiac, the Melchizedek. Every age a real Melchizedek step on the scene. Not just a savior, not just a prophet. They sprinkled all over, man, in the dozens and a dime a dozen and all of that. But the Melchizedek himself, within that cycle, yeah man, come through every different age, and the heights is now that in the mysteries of Melchizedek, it speak about in the end of that cycle of the 1213, two Melchizedek shall come at one time, one in the east and one in the west. Now it didn't say three, but it didn't say that there weren't three. What I'm just saying is that it went out of the norm. This is what I'm saying. Because it's one Melchizedek basically at a time, according to the age. But there will be an age when two Melchizedek shall rise, one in the east and one in the west, living in the hills and directly connected to the Ark of Noah for 7 years. And we already broke that down in different cases, the 7 year, of the King of Kings and the visitation and all of that, and living in the hills for 7 years, and the Congress beginning, and the whole 7 year cycle before Haile Selassie came in 1966. From our perspective of that fulfillment of the prophecy, yours may be somewhat different, but it comes back to the Hermes now. Trismegistus, in 3 lands at the same time. So how is that done? Born thrice, that's one of the name, the definition of his name. He was born 3 times then. So that's why the science of reincarnation is so key. So Hermes is not necessarily thought in my book, neither is Mercury thought, but yet still you have to look at the planet Mercury now. And its 88-day cycle. It has a definite 88-day cycle. Mercury, 88 day. And remember, 88 stands out there. The amount of constellation in the heavens is 88. And 88 bring you right back to Enoch. Because if you notice, Mercury, as far as we know, is the closest planet to the sun. And Enoch, in the secrets of Enoch, speaks very highly of the rising of the sun. 4,000 angels on one side and 4,000 on the other, and each 4,000 moving with 4 mighty angels. So there was a whole science of like 8,008 angels rising the sun and singing his praises every morning. And if you just watch sunrises and watch the clouds coming with the sun, it looked like man giving praises, Rastaman, Bobo Shanti beating drums while the sun coming up. You can say we want, man, I see the sun every day, and I know they're talking about coming up. You understand what I'm saying? So Enoch's whole science of the sun coming up with them 8008 is the 88, you know, and Mercury in its cycle around the sun and its rotation revolution is is 88 days. As I said, the 88 constellation, we just celebrating the 88th anniversary of the coronation of Negus and Agas, you know. So it's just the science of Tahuti in the house. Tahuti is the ibis head bird. Hermes is not an ibis head, nothing. Hermes is Hermes. The Greek version, the Greek stolen version of, borrowed version, stolen, whatever it is. As I said, they came and they sat with us and they learned our philosophy and they learned the science and went forward and put it in their own fashion. So it is good that we take the science now that we are now checking into and put it in the full fashion thereof. So as far as Enoch now, remember, Enoch's position is considered to be the real first son of God. Enoch again on the seventh heaven, seeing the Lord, asked, well, where are we going if the Lord is here on the seventh heaven? And the angel told him on the 10th heaven is God. Enoch saw the prison houses. That was what was reserved for the wicked and the evil, and saw the spirits roaming, and saw the doors and the windows and the movements of the sun and the moon and the constellation and the houses, and saw God and the face like iron emitting sparks. And the Almighty explained to him how Gemini came above Orion, and not to mislead you, that is my perception of what he told Enoch. Say when there was nothing, it was him alone as the Lord. Yeah. And he called down the great light Adonai. Remember, he's here alone, nobody else but him, but he called down from where down the great light Adonai. And the belly of light opened, and out he came in another form. And then he created everything else. Sit on that, man. And then after creation, he asked Adonai to ascend. He put Adonai's throne above his throne. And there was no throne above his throne except the throne of Adonai. Who is this Adonai, brother? But when there was no one, this Adonai he called first. And Adonai opened, and he came out of Adonai. And then created all things. And put Adonai's throne above his throne. And Gemini, the mother and father of creation, are above the Orion constellation. When you understand the science of Orion, the compass and the square formation as his belt, the celestial equator passes through the belt of Orion, the great galaxy therein and nebula within Orion's belt. Oh yeah, wonderful. So Enoch in them kind of powers, that's Enoch's testimony. And of course, as you can see, the emerald tablet is seen as a book directly, or a tablet, directly dealing with alchemy and quantum mechanics, which is definitely down the lane of Enoch as well. So give thanks for Tahuti, the ibis-headed Neter, and Shishat, because they go together, the cannabis, the thought, the ibis, the Shishat, the keeper of his records, the keeper of his books. That's why when you deal with the Shishat brothers and sisters, you gotta put something in the brain, You gotta put something in the brain before you put something in the brain. You gotta put something in your mind, your brain, You gotta enrich yourself, read, and grow in knowledge. Because when you get the real Shishat, not no synthetic, this ain't no drug move we on, when you get the holy tree of life recommended by the great physician himself to sacrifice unto him in holy matrimony of celebration of the marriage of the Lamb, you need something for it to feed on. Because Shishat don't play. Shishat is the librarian. Shishat is the librarian. So if you ain't got no books in the library, that's why you spin around and twist around and you want to eat, and some people say, boy, I feel like I'm going crazy. Then Shishat looking for knowledge to suck on, information. That's why the tree of life is not a joke. Yeah. It is for many things. Many things. But hey, it is for the thought. King Emmanuel the Seventh. Adonai God, Jah, Rastafari. Give thanks, Tahuti. Give thanks for your presence, my brothers and sisters. Give thanks for the love. You know, as we continue in all majesty. If you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of your Bible will become a mystery. And remember, it takes some real eyes to realize the real lies that are around us. King Emmanuel the Seventh, Adonai God, Jah, Rastafari. So who is Tahuti in them time here?
On the northeastern corner of the Caribbean island chain sits the gem of the West Indies, Santa Maria de la Antigua. Antigua, renowned for its sun, sea, and sand. It has also become famously known as the Stonehenge of the Caribbean. Situated between the villages of Jennings, Ebenezer, and Bendel's stands Greencastle Hill, 596 feet of volcanic rocks and lemongrass. These volcanic rocks, which are too numerous to tally, naturally protrude out of the hill and are arranged to correspond to the astronomical clock, the solstices, the equinoxes, and the movements of the stars. This has been confirmed by Dr. Maura Imbert, an astroarchaeologist who conducted a study of several keystones on Greencastle Hill. I have visited Stonehenge in England and have seen for myself the methods utilized by the government and people of that nation to incorporate Stonehenge as a part of its economical development through tourism. Infrastructure has been built around the monument, parking lot, museum, and even a restaurant. And of course, thousands flock to the site during the solstices and equinoxes, and millions visit each year. If preserved, developed, and marketed properly, Greencastle Hill, the Stonehenge of the Caribbean, could attract millions as well, in numbers of persons as well as in dollars and pounds. It will provide employment as well as career opportunities for Antiguans, and it would add to the value and appreciation of Antigua internationally. Greencastle Hill has been used for decades as a site for the creation of aggregates and building materials. As it is already a national park, we as a nation should seriously consider Greencastle Hill and preserve it and utilize it, for it is our national treasure and a sacred hill. The nations and nature will applaud us for such actions. I thank you.
ourselves free men. Our great scholars have advanced through the colleges and universities, have thrown away the blotted record. Babylon did it. Assyria did it. France under Napoleon did it. Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it. England under America under George Washington did it. Africa with 400 million black people can do it.
Subscribe to the Mystic Vibrations Shock of the Hour program today and never miss another episode. The Shock of the Hour is a Radio Anu exclusive program produced every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. By now, I am sure that you are aware that all our programs are packed with information, inspiration, mystic vibrations, as well as hot button topics. Every evening we enter into a different dimension, even if it is a part 2 of the previous program, whether it's history or mystery, biology or philosophy, domestic affairs or the locks of your hair. The mystic vibration is sure to bring something new and interesting to the table every evening. So never miss another episode again. Subscribe to the Shock of the Hour now. And don't forget your key Swahili word of the day and your daily scientific fact. So, to subscribe, give us an email, priestisaac27@gmail.com, or call or WhatsApp us today. Area code 1268-728-3162. The Shock of the Hour. Never miss another program. And a special note to all our new subscribers. All our new subscribers will receive a special copy of the DVD documentary, full length, The Night of the Black Tiger, The Divinity of Marcus Messiah God.